Al-Manhaj. Al-Manhaj lughatan is at-tariq al-wadih. At-tariq al-wadih, a clear path. A clear path. A path that is clear. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, لِكُلٍّ جَعَلْنَا مِنْكُمْ شِرْعَةً وَمِنْهَاجًا. Allah said, to each of you, the Prophet of Allah, we have prescribed two things. Shira'atan, what? A sharia, a law, wa minhaja, and a method, an approach. Minhaj, our manhaj is an approach, a methodology, a system with which a law is to be implemented or managed. So al-manhaj is at-tariq al-wadi, a clear path. And that is why Imam Ibn Jarir al-Tabari under this verse said, وَأَمَّا الْمِنْهَاجِ فَإِنَّ أَصْلَهُ الطَّرِيقُ الْبَيِّنُ الْوَاضِحِ. So minhaj primarily, fundamentally means a perfect, clear path. يُقَالُ وَطَرِيقٌ نَهَجٌ وَمَنْهَجٌ. Scholars used to say this tariq is nahaj, that is a path that is straight, a path that is perfect. And they said ثُمَّ اسْتُعْمِلَ فِي كُلِّ شَيْءٍ كَانَ بَيِّنًا وَاضِحًا سَهَلًا. Then it is later adopted in connection to anything that is clear, that is what? That is simple. Anything that is clear, that is simple. And that's why one of the qualities or the attributes of al-aqidah islamiyya that I was not opportune to mention was what? Was as-sahla. Aqidatun sahla. It is simple to comprehend. What is the simplicity? The simplicity is there are principles. There are laid down principles. If you understand those principles, you will be fine. For example, I will give two instances. The first instance is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna Allah la yakfiru an yushraka bih. Inna Allah la yakfiru an yushraka bih. Allah does not forgive the sin of associating partner with him if the person dies upon it. Wa yakfiru ma duna dhalika liman yasha. That is the qaida. That ayah is qaida, is a principle that the only sin that is not forgivable in the hereafter is dying upon shirk and kufr al-akbar. Wadi? Okay, with that we'll be cleared of a lot of other issues. Okay, the Prophet said, whoever kills himself with anything, فَهُوَ فِي نَارِ جَهَنَّمَ خَالِدًا مُخَلَّدًا فِيهَا. He will be there perpetually. And to my party, Sahla. The moment you master your principle, you will be saved, inshallah ta'ala. Then what the scholars will only tell you, this is just a wa'id. This is a what? This is a wa'id. This is a strong warning to make us understand that this offense is very, very serious before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's an example. Another good example is with respect to as-sifat al-dhatiyya. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has got sifat which he described to us, which the Prophet described to us. The sifatul yad. Allah has got hands. Allah has got ayn. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has got ayn, eyes. Allah got hands. How do you approach this? Somebody say, Allah to law. And that's why the Jahmiyyah, who fought effortlessly the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where did they find themselves today? They were worshipping nothing. They didn't have Allah, they didn't have Lord they worshipped. They didn't worship anything. So there is a principle. لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٌ وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ. The moment as a person of Sunnah, Ọlọ́run ọba ó ṣe kí ni o, Olówó, yes. Laysa kamithlihi shay. Ọwọ́ ìwọ̀n, Iman's hand. The nature of Iman and is different from the nature of other beings, isn't it? So laysa kamithlihi shay. So this is an example of sahala. Said it is sahala, something that is easy to comprehend, and that's why al-manhaj as-sahih, what is regarded as an authentic manhaj, هي الطريقة التي كان عليها رسول الله في العقيدة والشريعة. The way of the prophet, the path of the prophet, the straight path of the prophet, the path the prophet followed in his aqidah and in matters of Islamic rulings and adjudications. So everything that has to do with Islamic ruling, the method, the approach with which such is pursued is regarded as al-manhaj. And that is why I would say that the debate among scholars regarding the difference between aqidah and al-manhaj is only al-khilafu al-lafzi. Al-khilafu al-lafzi. It is only al-khilafu al-lafzi. What al-khilafu al-lafzi means is that it is only a verbal disagreement. There is consensus regarding its implications. The implication is that if a person is following in wrong manhaj, it's an indication of the fact that his aqidah is a faulty one. But if a person is following a correct aqidah, automatically his manhaj will be so fine. And that's why, please permit me to go straight to the statement of my beloved. I have the statement of Sheikh bin Baz, I have that of Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen. They are all our beloved. But my beloved, I love Sheikh Salih ibn Abdul Aziz Ali Sheikh. I love him so much. I have said this times without number, that among the living, I love two sheikhs who are living. I love them. I want to be like them in knowledge, in character, in uslub. The first one is my love, Sheikh Abdul Razak Al-Badr. The second one is Sheikh Saleh. There is another thing I'm learning from Sheikh Saleh ibn Abdul Aziz that makes him what? That makes him meet the list. If not for the fact that Sheikh Abdul Razak Al-Badr has been on my mind for so long, I could have said my first love is Sheikh Saleh bin Abdul Aziz and the Sheikh. Afa. Okay. Kokawa. Saleh bin Abdul Aziz and the Sheikh. Àwọn èèyàn dá àwọn èèyàn mà. Àwọn èèyàn wọ́n dá àwọn èèyàn mà. So mo like ọ̀rọ̀ tí wọ́n sọ. Ẹ mọ̀ gbọ́n tí wọ́n sọ. Wọ́n ní al-manhaj ma'nahu as-sabil wa at-tariqa allati yakunu 'alayha ahlu sunnah atba'u salaf salih. That our manhaj is our path, the path of the people of sunnah. When وَالطَّرِيقَةُ الَّتِي يَتَعَامَلُونَ مَعَ مَنْ حَوْلَهُ. The way and manners they deal and relate with those who are around them. كَيْفَ يَتَعَامَلُونَ مَعَ الْمُسْلِمِ. How do you interact with your fellow Muslim? Whether it's a Sunni or not a Sunni. Wallahi, this aspect needs a lot of attention. It needs a lot of what? It needs a lot of corrections. كيف يتعاملون مع الكافر الحربي. A kafir who is your enemy, how do you deal with him? How do you interact with him? كيف يتعاملون مع المعاهد والمستعمل. Somebody who is protected, who is given security, and who there is a how do you deal with them? Those that we've come to terms with. كيف يتعاملون مع المسلم العاصي? How do you deal with a erring Muslim? وكيف يأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر? How do you command what is good and forbid what is bad in your environment with the limitation of your knowledge? These things are very, very essential. كيف يتعاملون مع ولاة الأمور? How do they interact with the people in authorities? كيف يتعاملون مع أهل العلم? If a scholar errs, how do you address it? How do you correct a scholar? كيف يتعاملون مع السلف هذه الأمة? And in all, how do you deal with the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And he said, and that was why the books of Aqidah and Manhaj, because to him, to Sheikh Salih Ali Sheikh, to him, he believes Al-Aqidah encompasses Al-Manhaj. And that is why in Al-Wasitiyya of Ibn Taymiyyah, for example, there are topics of Aqidah and there are topics of what? There are topics of Manhaj.